Hello, my name is Giselle and today I'll introduce Pan Am Flight 103. The Boeing 747-121 registered N739PA was a regularly scheduled Pan Am transatlantic flight from Frankfurt to Detroit via a stopover in London and another in New York City. Shortly after 19 on 21st December 1988, while the aircraft was in flight over the Scottish town of Lockerbie, it was destroyed by a bomb that had been planted on board, which was hidden in a suitcase, killing all 243 passengers and 16 crew in what became known as the Lockerbie bombing. Last sections of the aircraft crashed in the residential street in Lockerbie, killing 11 residents, with a total of 270 fatalities. It is the deadliest terrorist attack in the history of the United Kingdom. Following a 3-year joint investigation by U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI), arrest warrants were issued for the two Libyan nationals in November 1991. In 1999, Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi handed over the two men for trial at Camp Ziz, the Netherlands, after protracted negotiation with the United Nations sanctions. In year 2001, Abdel Bassat al-Maghrabi, a Libyan intelligence officer, was jailed for life after being found guilty for 370 counts of murder in connection with the bombing. In August 2009, he was released by the Scottish government on compassionate grounds after being diagnosed with prostate cancer. He died in May 2012 as the only person to be convicted for the attack. In 2003, Gaddafi accepted responsibility for the Lockerbie bombing and paid compensation to the families of the victims, although he maintained that he had never given the order for the attack. During the first Libyan civil war in 2011, former Minister of the Justice Mustafa Abdul Jalil claimed that the Libyan leader had personally ordered the bombing, though this was later denied, while the investigators have long believed that Maghrabi did not act alone, and have been reported as questioning retired Stasi agents about the possible roles in the attack. Some relatives of the dead, including a Lockerbie campaigner Jim Suhr, believe the bomb was planted at Heathrow Airport and not sent via feeder flights from Malta as the US and UK claim. On the 22nd anniversary of the bombing, 21st December 2020, Abdul Aguilar Muhammad Massoud was charged in the US for having built the bomb that destroyed the aircraft and acting as a co-conspirator.
Hi guys, my name is Ragava and I'm from University College of Aviation Malaysia, holding metric card number D form 2111003. So today I'll be talking about the story of incident on what happened to Pan Am Flight 103. Pan Am Flight 103 is actually a flight flying from London to New York, and this flight was exploded in mid-air right above Lockerbie, Scotland. Sadly, 243 of passengers and 16 crew members on board were killed. Not only that, adding on 11 of Lockerbie citizens on ground was also killed. So this very tragical incident happened on 21st December 1988. So when the flight was right approximately 31,000 feet above, this flight was bombed with a small device where it was placed inside a audio cassette, or also known as radio, and this radio was placed inside one of the luggage in the cargo hold. So the incident, which sparked Britain's biggest criminal inquiry, was thought to be a provocation against the United States. Terrorists from the Islamic State are accused of placing a bomb on the airliner while it was parked at Frankfurt Airport before taking off. So authorities believe that the attack was vengeance for either the 1986 US air raids on Libya, where Muammar al-Gaddafi's daughter and hundreds of others were killed, or it might be a vengeance for the event happened in 1988, where US mistakenly shot down an Iran air commercial jet over the Persian Gulf, and this killed 290 people. The US Embassy in Helsinki, Finland, got a telephone 16 days before the bombing scene happened, telling that they will be placing a bomb in Pan Am flight. So this call was actually a sign of warning that was given to the US. But the US didn't take this situation very serious, and there is a debate on how seriously the US regarded the threat and whether or not travelers should have been warned, although officials eventually stated that the call and the device were unrelated. Libyan intelligence officers Abdel Basset Ali al-Megrahi and Layman Khalifa of FEMA were indicated for murder in 1991 after a combined investigation by British authorities and the FBI. This has been told that a very complex and complicated investigation that British have actually took over. Libya, on the other hand, is refusing to actually hand over the suspects to United States. But somehow, finally, in 1999, Gaddafi agreed to hand over the two men to Scotland for prosecution in Netherlands under Scottish law and prosecutors in order to reduce UN sanctions against his country. Al-Megrahi was convicted and sentenced to life prison in early 2001. Al-Megrahi was released and returned to Libya in August 2009 over the concerns of US government when physicians assessed that he had only months to live. According to sources, the US Justice Department will unseal criminal charges against another suspect in the attack, Abu Aguila Mas'ud, in December 2020. Libya admitted responsibility for the incident in 2003 but did not express regret. Libya agreed to pay each victim's family $8 million in restitution when the United Nations and United States eased sanctions against the country. Libya's Prime Minister claimed in 2004 that the arrangement was the payment for peace, meaning that his country only assumed responsibility for lifting the sanctions, which enraged the family of the victims. Pan Am Airlines sued Libya 3 years after the bombing scene eventually got a $30 million settlement. And that was a straight and simple explanation about this Pan Am Flight 103 bombing scene. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Alif Azizan bin Muhammad Yusof. I'm holding matrix number D form 2111001. Today I'm going to talk about the impact of Pan AM Flight 103 that exploded over Lockerbie, Scotland on December 21, 1988. A total of 259 people were killed, excluded 11 people on the ground. The explosion broke the plane into thousands of pieces that landed in an area covering roughly around 850 square miles or 2,200 square kilometers. The wreckage also destroyed 21 houses and the property was completely destroyed and they had to be demolished. And that's all from me. Thank you.
So my name Muhammad Sharizman Daniel, holding metric number D form 2111000 from the group 16, will be presenting the last part of this topic, which is the cause of accident for the flight Pan Am 103. On December 21, 1988, the jetliner took off from the Heathrow Airport in London bound for New York City. They never made it home. Less than 40 minutes into the flight, the plane exploded over Lockerbie, Scotland, killing all 243 passengers and 60 crew on board and 11 Scots on the ground. The explosion at 30,000 feet ran a debris over 835 square miles, creating the largest ever crime scene. More than 5,000 responded from the US and Scotland combat the debris to search for the clue. They recovered 319 tons of wreckage and thousands of pieces of evidence. In the debris, investigators found a tiny fragment that led them to believe a bomb had been placed inside a radio in a piece of luggage aboard. Another small fragment found embedded in a piece of t-shirt helped identify the explosive timer. The FBI said the evidence led to two Libyan intelligence operatives. The Libyan government formally accepted responsibility for the bombing and agreed to pay nearly $3 billion to the victims' family. In 1991, the British and American government charged Abdel Basit, Ali al-Maghrahi, and Lamin Khalifa Fima with the attack. The Fima was acquitted, but al-Maghrahi was convicted in 2001 and sentenced to live in prison. He was compassionately released in 2009 when he was believed to be near death from cancer, but he then survived almost 3 more years according to the FBI. US officials say Massoud admitted to building the bomb in the Pan Am attack and working with 2 other conspirators to carry it out. An FBI affidavit say Massoud told Libyan law enforcement that he flew to Malta to meet al-Maghrahi and Fima. He handed Fima a medium-sized suitcase containing a bomb, having already been instructed to set timer so that the device will explode. Exactly 11 hours later, according to the document, he then flew to Tripoli. The attack was latest flare of tension between Libya and the West. In the years before the flight, for instance, Libya was blamed for the bombing of the West Berlin disco that killed 2 American soldiers and injured dozens of others. The complaint against Massoud admitted to be involved in the bombing as well. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gilbert, metric card number deform 2111002. Today I will talk about the conclusion of this case. Finally, it may be concluded global level lesson to be learned from the Pan Am Flight 103 or Lockerbie terrorist attack, which happened 34 years ago, remain valuable today. In January 1989, the USA and the UK requested a special session of the International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO) Council to improve the international aviation security procedure in the response to the destruction of Pan Am Flight 103. A special session for the ICAO Council was held on 15 to 16 February 1989. During this significant international meeting, ways of responding to acts of unlawful interference against civil aviation were discussed. This attempt to strengthen aviation security and be considered the most important effect of those tragic events on further improvements and future developments of harmonious and standardized aviation security measures. ICAO organization and powers were strengthened after this conference. This resulted in the improvement of aviation security, regulation, training, and quality control. Lockerbies also caused many states to enhance civil aviation security measures. Cargo security was amended by the new standard of screening and practice based on known and unknown shipper concepts. Realization of new procedures and physical methods of control regarding electronic and electrical equipment such as radios and computers were achieved. Use of passengers' questioning was reiterated in future addressing this issue. Implementation of one of the most important standards of screening of check and transfer baggage both at check-in and between flight to achieve 100% whole baggage screening become reality, and automated inlines and multi-level baggage screening system technologies commenced operating. As a result, much research was done to improve the structure of aircraft and harden the cargo hold and contains against the consequences of IED blast. Effort in this area continue. The aviation security community initiated higher standard of access to restricted areas of airport. For example, security of control of pupils and vehicles entering this area. Background check for aviation personnel, particularly security employees, were a significant part of this effort. Still, it shall not be forgotten that if Pan Am 1035 departed from Heathrow on time and exploded over the Atlantic, little important evidence will be have to found to teach us the lesson of Lockerbie. So that's all from our group. Thank you very much for watching and listening.